see so many drivers was caught shortcut in the track today, and tomorrow that'll be a pass or penalty. Like, is there anything that can be done about that? Do you guys think that they should? Dow said they should bring the curbs back. What should they be doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's in our hands for sure. I mean, it's just difficult because there's not much view in our car. You can't see a whole lot from our perspective. So, the first S is kind of blind, and then it kind of sets you off if you miss it. So, and it's in our hands. I mean, I did it once, but I knew right away when I did it. But it's we'll just see how it goes.
I mean, you did it last year too, right? In the race. When I was looking at the stats, it looks like you were.
Yeah, I think so. I thought mine was on a restart or something like that. But
7,
that's the only one where, if someone doesn't gain an advantage, like it's really hard to see through there. So I believe last year, if I remember right, I was right up behind somebody, and I was just trying to see. And so I wasn't trying to gain any position, which I didn't. So, but it's, as long as they call it the same for everyone, it's fine.
Are you good with, they were looking at doing something that turns 8, 9, and they decided not to?
It's a mess over there for sure. It's just a product of the paint having so much grip that we've got to be down there. But it's just a weird track config thing that, is forcing guys to go down in the mud.
All 4 JGR cars were fast at Bristol and Phoenix. You guys all made the final round here. Do you feel that this is maybe the most equal all 4 teams have been at JGR in a long time?
They're equal every week. We all got the same cars.
Okay.
But yeah, it seems like they're all running well and qualifying well, racing well. So certainly things are going, pretty well.
Did you NASCAR keep coming back here?
Yeah, sure. As long as fans continue to turn out and it's an interesting race, then why not?
Did you tell any difference with the paved areas and or the new?
Yeah, not really. It didn't have enormous amount of grip like you would think new pavement has, but it's got a little bit different texture to it, which is good. So nothing really caught off guard from what we expected.
One thing we heard from Phoenix feedback was that the car was a little bit more comfortable getting sideways. Did you feel that at all here with this configuration? And does that matter? Does it translate at all?
I mean, I was sideways a lot this practice, but maybe a little bit. It allowed you to, kick the car sideways. But at this track, I think you want to have it pretty as straight as you can. So it's, again, I couldn't really tell much difference in this package from what we had.
What do you think about the package going into Richmond? You think it'll make a difference there with the racing gear?
If I haven't been able to tell the first couple tracks, I don't think it'll change much at Richmond for sure. I'm surely looking forward to 7 days from now, certainly.
Kumi showed a lot of speed in practice, didn't get the best starting spot, but what's a good realistic expectation for him tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know about an expectation. It's really hard. Even the guys that have come in under other series, once you get in the middle of the pack, it's really rough. And if you're not used to that type of racing, it can certainly rattle you a little bit. But as long as he hits back, and it's all good. So I don't know for expectation. Top 15 would be a great day.
The last had good speed and improved his road course skills a ton.
Yeah, he certainly has been faster for sure, which we're excited about, and that's all we can ask is continue to get better on it.
How did you strike up a friendship with UNC players that get off the court in a March Madness game and come to your house?
Nephew-in-law, I guess you could say. So he's dating Jordan's niece is dating Armando.
Oh, okay.
So just kind of somewhat of a family tie there.
So you're just like, hey, like I got a court
too.
Like,
he's come to he came to the Roval in another race, and so he wanted to repay the favor and set us up there at the game. That's cool.
We had the track records at COTA fall in all 3 series left and right this weekend. There's the new pavement. Is that the only reason, or were there other reasons why the cars were so fast?
Yeah, it's the pavement for sure. It's got so much, it's just naturally has more grip than the older pavement for sure. So a lot of it is just gaining speed on the braking zones through the new pavement.
Thank you.
New restart zone. Does that impact what your expectations are?
It'll be better for sure. I mean, from my standpoint, it's not probably going to be as nuts into turn 1. We're not going to be all jammed 20 cars in a little ball there. Certainly it'll spread it out some. So we'll still have it on the first initial start, and then after that, hopefully we can take a breath.
You don't think
Hey, so Josh, talk about what you've been through out there. What were your main struggles? I didn't see where you ended up at the qualifying, but on the practice chart it was kind of far back. So what are y'all dealing with so far?
Honestly, just experience, right? This first time driving this car on a road course, man, it was a lot more grip, a lot more braking potential than what I was used to the last couple of years. So honestly, just kind of drove the car a lot, just pushing it, learning, trying not to slide the tires. We gained a lot of speed throughout the whole process. We still got more to get for sure, but overall, I'm actually pretty happy with how everything went. I think there's a lot more potential there. I told Rodney and the guys afterwards, man, I was like, I just need to go race at this point, right? Just get some laps, feel it, experience it, learn, and we'll be better for the next one.
With NASCAR taking over operations at Bowman Gray, I don't know, have you raced there much?
I haven't.
Okay.
I've only been there, I think once, years and years ago, watched a modified race there. I don't know really what to make of that. I think, I mean, it's an interesting deal. I mean, it's cool, but I'm sure it's, they have, big turnouts during the summer, so I'm sure it's a way to make money.
Yeah, but you don't know whether your big cars could, I know you like short tracks, but I don't know whether that be one you'd want to try.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. I just think, I think a Xfinity or a truck race would be really interesting somewhere where the cars actually get tore up. I mean, with the next gen cars, it'd be like, local go-kart track with bumper cars or something. So it'd be interesting. I'm sure that's in the plans somewhere along the line, and we'll just wait for that day to come.
I know you've been here in the Xfinity car, but with the different sight lines, how do you manage the track limit situation and DSs?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of part of learning. I feel like for me, I think I had one issue there, and really it kind of starts by just a mistake in the corner before and kind of getting out of position and too far left, too far right. So I don't know, the hardest part is definitely turn 8. Even in our second run in qualifying, I was ahead of myself. Basically every time I run, I got faster. So the second run in qualifying, I was actually ahead of myself until I hit that dirt and slipped up. So it's just hard to manage that. I think that they're going to have to look at something going forward, because it's just not what we need to be worried about, at a place like this. But in the end, it's the same for everyone.
And next week we go to Richmond with a package from Phoenix, but last year at Richmond, I think fans want to see more of that. Maybe you want to flip the first 2 spots a little bit, but your thoughts going back there?
Yeah, no, I'm excited to get back there for sure. That was a great weekend. It's been a great racetrack for me over the years, even in the Xfinity side. So it's definitely got a big area of our focus right now. To go into Richmond and Martinsville, we've been working hard to get to improve just the short tracks a little bit. Bristol was a great start to that. So we're just gonna keep working on that and try to see what we do next week.
You with 2 short tracks coming up as your strong point, does that kind of boost your outlook, so to speak, and your season to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just taking it one week at a time, really, right? Like, we're not stressing too much over a day like today. We knew this was going to be a tall task, not having hardly any or having no experience in this car on the road course. I think knew that would be a challenge, and I don't exactly claim to be AJ Allmendinger or anything either. So, we knew that this would be a work in progress, but we've put a lot of focus on some tracks coming up. There's some really good tracks coming up for me, I feel like, in obviously Richmond, Martinsville, Dover. So we're excited to get to those 2.
Did you notice kind of any distinct differences with the new pavement, even though you only ran the Xfinity car last year with the old? Because pretty much every record from last year got blitzed.
Yeah, the grip level's high, right? And even I think that add in with everything I've described before, just getting acclimated to the car. I feel like we could do a little better on our end at SHR too. I feel like our correlation with the lap times we were running in the sim was much slower than what we had here. Just little things like that we can continue to do better and help all of us. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, this place is fun to drive. It's super challenging, and I think it's going to be fun the goal tomorrow is to run all the laps, learn as much as we can, and that'll just set us up better for later in the year.
And then back to last week with the tire wear, obviously maybe that was a little bit too extreme, but do you feel that there's kind of that balance of, having enough tire wear but not enough to just ride around and, making it still a good race, but also, in that regard?
Yeah, I think there's obviously there's a happy medium there. It was excessive. I think that's what made it entertaining. So there's definitely a happy medium there. I think as drivers, sometimes, I thought honestly a lot about this, even after the race, and taking in a lot of content throughout the week, just kind of getting everybody's gauge on what they saw and how I felt. And, I think I disagree in the fact that people say that we're just riding around, because we're not, right? It's a different kind of race. You're not, tires have limits, and when tires don't wear, you can drive at the limit of that tire forever with no penalty. I mean, the difference in a race like that, we're driving at the limit of the tire that's going to make it last 40, 50 laps, right? You're just driving to a different limit. You're using different techniques. You're racing differently than what you would do normally. So I think what we saw at the end, there was some cars that had good results because they just gave up and put it around in the back. But if there had been a caution in the final stage, that would have totally flipped all of that around, right? Like I felt like for us, we had a great car, and then if we raced up front, it was easier to manage the tires. So we constantly battled to try to get in the top 5. There was a couple of times where we bled out, wore out the tires, so be it. Sometimes I had tires left and the caution come out, right? Like it's all circumstantial. So it was a lot of fun. I think obviously we got to make the tires last longer than 40 laps though.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, my tires were not ready. My plan was to try to push a little bit earlier, and I couldn't because there was so much traffic. That's what we're talking about right there with Mangdao. But we've been struggling with the car a little bit. We were pretty good in the slow speed in practice, struggling a lot through the S's, and then for qualifying we were actually the other way around and struggling a little bit on the braking zones. So we have a little bit of work to do. I don't think the car is horrible. We just have some tweaks to do. Qualifying was a little bit messy. I think part of that was the car, part of that was myself, and part of that was just the traffic. Car, just didn't have the opportunity to really get my tires ready. But it's what it is. I'm pretty sure we can make some adjustments on the car. I think we're gonna be fine for tomorrow. Oh yeah, it's huge grip in the Repave. Oh yeah, there is a lot more grip in the Repave. I mean, we're gonna see easily a new track record here.
Last year that you didn't have the car to be what other drivers did, but this year hasn't been the same. You've been fast and won. What's the difference? How did y'all get to where you're at, and what is your score so far?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working over it very hard to trying to be as prepared as possible and trying to predict how the weekend is gonna go, and it's been paying off. I think that today, honestly, I'm a little bit surprised because we put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this race, and we just fired up pretty off balance-wise. But it happens. Sometimes simulator leads you in the right direction, sometimes it doesn't. But it's part of it. We're gonna go back to work, give my group some good feedback, and come back stronger tomorrow.
Next week we go to Richmond for the package that you got to beat. Your thoughts on that? Is it going to make a difference at Richmond with a new package, or what do you forget?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I didn't even know we're racing Richmond next week. My full focus is in COTA right now.
So, you're talking about your strategy that you have kind of about the track. Elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, the problem is that in corner 8, it's very easy to dump some dirt on track, and that's why you want to be in front of the pack. But yeah, it just didn't work out that way in qualifying. No, the tires were not ready. If you are going that slow and you just push in the stadium, you cannot expect to have good grip in your tires. We can blame on the brakes and we can blame whatever we want, but the tires are not ready. And if the tires are not ready, you're not going to have grip. Plain and simple. Thinking back, I think I should have done something a little bit different strategy-wise, not to either to go later or do something different, because my tires were not ready and I pushed like if they were, and already I locked out the tires.
If you have a question, raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. Start in the back there with Steven. Steven Stumpf, Frontstretch.com. William, you had the track record last year. I think there were 28 drivers in qualifying this year that broke it. You held on to it in the first round and you went to the pole. Can you kind of describe the differences between running the qualifying laps this year with the new pavement compared to last year?
Yeah, so the areas that they repaved are quite a bit more grip. As we got the tire rubber kind of rubbered in and got the racetrack to where it was kind of peak grip level. So I feel like it took probably the first 5 to 8 laps for everyone to make for the track to keep getting faster, and probably for us to understand where the grip level is on the racetrack to push. So I feel like we got to a spot where understood the racetrack more, and I think my biggest thing is, or my biggest concern is just turn 8, and how the dirt is there. It's definitely difficult to get through that corner. So wish that was a little bit better to make the racetrack flow a little bit nicer, but I feel like the added grip in some areas was nice and a little bit smoother. But I don't think it'll really change the race any. I think the braking zones and the passing zones will be the same, and should be a pretty exciting race.
We'll go to Bob and then Zach.
To follow up on that, is there anything that you feel like they should?
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.